Hi, in this video we're going to compare areas of either full circles or fractions of circles and solve the problem to find some radius or some length. Now we're told that shape A is a semicircle, that's half a circle, with diameter 40. Remember, the diameter of a circle is the line from one end of the circle to the opposite end of the circle that goes through the centre. And shape B is a circle. The area of A is 8 times the area of B. So this area is 8 times that. Now we need to find the radius of shape B. Now let's call this radius just R, because we don't know what it is. So we want to find that radius R, and that's going to be the answer, right? Now let's find the area of each of these shapes. Well, the area of B, now remember how we find the area of a full circle? It's pi r squared. So pi r squared. And that means pi times by the radius squared. Remember, when things are next to each other in algebra, it means you multiply them together. Now, what about the area of the semicircle A? Well, that's a little bit harder, but it's going to be pi times the radius squared. Now, what is the radius here? Well, it's the diameter that's 40. The radius is just from the center of the circle to the circumference. So we want 20 centimeters. So the radius is 20. So it's going to be pi times 20 squared, pi times the radius squared. But we've only got half a circle. So therefore we need to divide that area by 2. And now we might want to simplify this because can you see that 20 squared is 20 times 20, that's 400. 400 divided by 2 is 200. And 200 times by the pi is 200 pi. Remember, we write 200 pi to means 200 lots of pi, and we write 200 pi, not pi 200. We always put the number first. Okay, now it says the area of A is, okay, so let's write that. The area of A, 200 pi. And then it says is, so equals, 8 times the area of B. 8 times the area of B. So let's write that down. 8 times the area of B, which is pi r squared, like that. Yep. Okay, now we can simplify the right-hand side because we've got a multiplication there. So we could just write that as 8 pi r squared. We can put it all together. And then what could we divide both sides by? Well, we could divide both sides by pi. And that basically cancels these pi's. And we're left with 200 is equal to 8r squared. Now we want to try and get the r on its own. Now you might be tempted to square root this stage, but you need to get the r squared on its own first before you square root. So r is being squared and then it's being multiplied by 8. So you want to get rid of the last thing you've done. You want to get rid of that times by 8, and you do that by doing the opposite. You divide both sides of the equation by 8. Now 200 divided by 8 is 25. So we get 25 is equal to, and the divide 8 cancels out this times 8 here. So we're just left with r squared. And then to get rid of that squared on the r, you square root both sides, because the opposite of squaring is square rooting. And if you do that, you get 5 on the left-hand side and r on the right-hand side. So the radius is 5, and that is the final answer. The radius of shape B is 5 centimeters.